What's up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Got Next podcast. I'm your host, Mitchell Baldwin, with my co-host, Donovan Moore.
Yes, sir. We locked in.
Yep. And we got Ben and Bones Nate Ash back on the show with us today. Say what's up, B.
How y'all doing? Ready for this final trimester of 2023?
Absolutely. Down to the wire here. It's almost the end of the NFL season. Hard to believe, week 14 already. But on this episode, obviously, we'll be going through our matchups for this week, picking the winners and losers, and recapping last week's action. So make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, all that type of stuff. Follow the socials, the Instagram and the TikTok at the Got Next podcast. And without further ado, let's get into the intro.
Three-pointers. Outside jumper for three at the bucket.
All right, before we get started on our matchups, we got to officially announce the last bye weeks of the season. The Commanders and the Cardinals are both on bye. For the Commanders, that may be a good thing.
The rest of their season is a bye week. Them niggas need to go ahead and pack up and stay home.
Nah, for real, it's looking real bleak. But we will not talk too bad about the Commanders right now as they do not play this week. The Patriots and the Steelers, though, they will kick it off on Thursday this week. B, this is your team and the team of the sweatshirt I am wearing right now. B, talk to me. Who do you have for this game?
Reluctantly, I'm going to pick the Patriots to win this game, and it might be the craziest thing people act like they've heard, but I've been watching the Steelers the last several weeks. They can't score. Neither can the Patriots, but funny thing about the Patriots is their last three games, they've let up 10 points in all three of the games, and they've lost them all. But I don't know if the Steelers can score 10 points after what I've been watching this whole season, honestly. I'm not going to – obviously, I could see the Steelers winning. I should want to see this. I should think the Steelers are going to win. But when I saw that spread, when I saw that 6-point line, I said definitely pick the Patriots +6 because this will be closer than a 6-point game. I can promise you that. And for some reason, Tomlin just can't seem to beat Bill Belichick. I understand if there was any year to do it, it would be this year. For Christ's sakes, the Chargers just beat the Patriots, and we can't remember the last time that ever happened. But I'm just not feeling good about this one. The Steelers' offense looks lost. The locker room kind of looks lost. And, I'm hoping for the best, but expecting the worst. And that's about all you can do when you have a team that's very sorry on one side of the ball. I learned last week with piss poor offense such as the Steelers, you can lose any game. You can lose any game with a bad offense in 2023, even if you're going up against another bad offense. I have a feeling it's going to be a really ugly game, not too many points at all, and I'm worried sick that it's not going to work out.
You made great points. Honestly, this is kind of a toss-up game with how bad the Steelers' offense is. And the Patriots, although they've lost their last 4 to 5 games and they haven't let up many points at all. I think the key difference here is the Steelers defense, I think, takes the ball away more than the Patriots defense does on the opposite end. So I think maybe TJ Watt or somebody will step up. This game really means a lot to the Steelers in terms of how jumbled up the AFC wildcard race is. So I think it'll more so be the Steelers defense that wins them this game. I think maybe they'll set the offense up with great field position or maybe even take a fumble or interception back for a touchdown. So I'll take the Steelers in like a 9-6 win or 10-7, something like that.
B, you picked the Patriots, right?
Yeah, unfortunately I did.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Steelers, actually, in this matchup. Nobody even talked about it yet. The Patriots lost Ramondre Stevenson this last week.
That's true. I did hear that.
One of their main offensive players. They ran a lot through him. He also, caught a couple catches out of the backfield, and he's obviously not going to be good to go this week. So you got Ezekiel Elliott as your starting running back in 2023. So going to rock with the Steelers in this matchup. I feel like if the passing game's not working for one of his teams, at least the Steelers can, lean on Jaylen Warren and Najee Harris. Najee Harris has looked a little bit more like himself these last couple weeks. So I feel like if you can lean on anybody, it'd be the running game for the Steelers. So going to rock with the Steelers.
How many points the Steelers going to score in this game?
Probably I give it 14. 14.
14, that'd be a lot.
I think
That's the ceiling. That's the absolute ceiling, I think.
I think ceiling is for. I'm saying like how much can they score? I think
So you don't think the Patriots are scoring a touchdown? You must not think the Patriots are going to score a touchdown this game.
They may.
I think it could be 6-10. I think
Something like that. Yeah, it's going to be a low-scoring game.
Yes, I think the Steelers can get 10 points. I do. Next up, we got the Bucks and the Falcons. Talk to me, B.
I'm going to pick the Falcons in this one. I think they're showing good signs, even though their quarterback situation is still sort of ridiculous, sort of unknown for the future. They have a couple good players on the team. That's what high draft picks will do for you. They have Bijan Robinson, even though we talked about how they're not really using any of their early draft picks to the best of their ability. They look to be possibly the least bad in a less than stellar division. Bucks did their thing last week. They beat the Panthers, but obviously this Bucks team this year has shown they can't really beat good teams. They didn't even beat the Falcons at home earlier this year. Really is a toss-up, but congratulations to Mike Evans for getting his 1,000 yards again, by the way. But that's about the only bright spot for Tampa this year, other than not being one of the worst teams in the league like everyone thought they'd be. But I'm going to go with the Falcons in this one.
I'm going to go with Tampa Bay. I just feel like, and I said it last week, the Falcons are really inconsistent. And I took the Jets, and the Jets could have beat them had it not been they just have a terrible offense. Kind of similar to the Steelers, very solid defense, but not really an offense to write home about. And the Bucks and Falcons, this looks like this game could kind of determine that division, whoever gets that wild card spot out of that division. The Bucks, they still have a strong defense, in my opinion. You got Devin White, Levante David. They still got Shaq Barrett, things like that. And then, of course, like you mentioned, Mike Evans, Rashad White's having a solid year. So I think the Bucks will go in there and win this game. The Falcons, I'm really still not sold on them completely. I just think they're an inconsistent team. They just kind of gotten by against two bad teams these last couple of weeks. But I think the Bucks can kind of get the win here.
I'm gonna agree with Donovan here. I think that the Bucks get the win this week. I don't think the Falcons' pass game is competent enough to be able to stick with the Bucks here this week, as they also have a run game as well as a throw game. So, like the Bucks here in this matchup. Next up, the Lions versus the Bears. Talk to me, B.
I love the game the Bears gave them a couple of weeks back. I like the win the Bears got before the bye week. I'm actually going to pick the Bears here in an upset. I think upsets happen this time of year. I think, top-tier contenders have a slip-up this time of year. And the Bears are obviously, Justin Fields wants to make it hard for them to move on from him this offseason. And I think, he's picking up his play a little bit. I don't think he's a totally terrible quarterback, but I think he's in a terrible situation. And great college quarterback, but clearly not a really good NFL quarterback. So we're going to see how the rest of the season plays out for him and how he handles it. But they kind of smelt blood playing in the Lions Den a couple of weeks ago, and I think this time they get him in the frozen tundra of Soldier Field.
I think this game will be close. I think it'll be a very close game. You kind of almost convinced me to take the Bears. Justin Fields has been playing solid. They're coming off a bye. And the game in Chicago?
Yeah.
Oh, the weather's going to be nasty. Ooh. But I just don't have enough faith in the Bears. I'm going to take the Lions because I just feel like somehow, some way, the Bears will more likely find a way to lose than the Lions will find a way to lose. So, like we saw with the game a couple of weeks ago, the Bears were pretty much dominating the game for the first 58 minutes. Last 2 minutes, Lions go down, get 2 scores or so. So, I think the Lions will find a way to win this game. It'll be very competitive. The Bears should keep it close at home, but the Lions, they may be, dare I say, almost playing for a 1 seed here. Who knows what will happen, but I think this game will mean a little more to the Lions. I think they'll get a victory.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the Lions are this time of year, trying to make the playoffs and make a solid playoff push here. So, easy matchup. There's really no excuses to lose this one. Gonna go with the Lions here, even if there is bad weather. The weather's not much better in Michigan, so I feel like they'll be used to the cold weather there, and I'm gonna rock with the Lions in that matchup. The Rams versus the Ravens is up next.
I love how the Rams are playing. They're back to 500 for the first time, I guess, since their Super Bowl year, which was only 2 years ago. But hands down, they're not going to win this game in Baltimore. As much as it kills me to say us Steelers fans could definitely use us winning this week and seeing the Ravens lose, but the Ravens are pretty close to full strength, and the Rams aren't as strong as the Super Bowl team they bought 2 years ago. So I think that kind of tells you where this game lies.
I'm going to take the Ravens as well. One thing I do want to mention about the Rams, where has Aaron Donald been this year? Usually year in and year out, we hear about Aaron Donald. I have not heard.
Same place Cooper Kupp's been, supposedly. Both of those guys aren't really lighting up the stat book, but they would probably tell you in that locker room that they're still the two most important guys on that team. But I know what you mean, man. Their stats are not there this year.
Where is Aaron Donald's stat? He's been double-digit sacks, I think, almost every year he's been in.
Probably still getting double teamed on every play. Just it's kind of like he won the Super Bowl. He thought about retiring. He's probably not quite as good as he once was, but he's still a catalyst to that team.
For sure. But yeah, I got the Ravens this week. They're at home. I think the Ravens are making a push for this 1 seed, man. They got a big matchup versus the Dolphins in a few weeks. Who knows what's going to happen? But I like the Ravens.
To go off your Aaron Donald point, Aaron Donald has 6 sacks this season.
That's a down year for Aaron Donald, in my opinion.
He usually gets 12 or something like that.
Yeah, this time of year, what are we, 12, 13 games in the season?
Yeah.
Aaron Donald around this time will have at least 8 to 9 sacks.
Yeah. But I mean, it was an impressive win that they had last week against the Browns, though. I'll give them that.
For sure.
I didn't see Stafford get sacked a lot, really.
He's been playing well the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Pretty clean game. I mean, Nakua went out for some time, but I think he's going to be playing this week. So should be a good matchup, actually. I'm going to still go with the Ravens, though. I don't trust the Rams' defense as much as I trust the Ravens' defense. So they're going to rock with Baltimore for that one. The Colts versus the Bengals. The Bengals backup, can't think of his name right now, but he actually played pretty well. Yeah, played pretty well last week, actually, and they got the dub. So how do you feel about them this week, B?
This is honestly a tough matchup. This is going to be a really close game. Not really calling Gardner Minshew a backup because he had more experience than Anthony Richardson did when he took that job. And obviously it's not his job long-term, but he's started a lot of games in this league. It's going to be a really close game. The Bengals, they aren't necessarily the same Bengals pre-Joe Burrow because they do have Jamar Chase and Joe Mixon and a couple dogs still on their team. So they're not going to look quite as bad. They can still look respectable with a backup quarterback is what I'm saying when they're playing like mediocre teams like this. But the Colts are also fighting for a playoff position. The Bengals in their heads still think they can get in the playoffs. They've seen their co-AFC North teams, particularly the Browns and Steelers, kind of do it without quarterback play all year. And they're like, why can't we be the third team in this division to be like that? I'm actually going to pick the Bengals here. They're at home. They're coming off a win against the AFC South leader team who was 8-3, now 8-4. They beat the Jaguars on the road. And I think they kind of continue their good play against the Colts at home. I think it's a very winnable game for them. And I think the Colts are due for a loss. The Colts have been playing well, but kind of on a long win streak, and I don't think they're that good to keep riding it out.
I actually agree with you, B. The Bengals started to gain some confidence. I didn't give them a shot to beat Jacksonville in Jacksonville primetime game, and they went in there and won the football game. Going back home this week, I think the Bengals are still going to continue to catch some rhythm. It seems like Jamar Chase and Jake Browning are kind of starting to get a little chemistry there. They're leaning on Joe Mixon in the run game. I'll take the Bengals at home. I agree.
I will also take the Bengals in this matchup. Even though the Colts, I think, will play it close and, keep it a competitive game, I do like the Bengals ultimately to pull out with the win. We got the Jags versus the Browns up next.
This is a really interesting game because it's going to be two backup quarterbacks most likely. It's either going to be Joe Flacco or DTR versus who's the backup for the Jaguars again? They said he had CJ Beathard, right? They said he had 0 game-winning drives in his career last night, and that stood the same after what he tried last night. I'm actually going to pick the Browns here. I think they'll win this game strictly because they're not going against Trevor Lawrence, so they don't feel like they're totally at odds in the quarterback matchup, and they still have a good defense. So I think they win at home. They're on a 2-game losing streak. I think they get over it.
I agree. I'm gonna take Cleveland as well. They're going back home. You got a Jaguars team who I think their confidence may be a little shaken without Trevor Lawrence. They could also be looking over their shoulder a little bit and seeing that Houston Texans team may be trying to get that division crown. So I'm gonna take Cleveland this week at home. The weather may be Clevelandish, might be snow flurries or rain, whatever it may be. I think Cleveland's defense will kind of bounce back after getting slapped in the face by the Rams. So I got Cleveland.
Yeah, I just talked about how the Browns defense was not very good last week, so I think that they'll be equally as good this week against the Jags and a backup QB. So ultimately going with the Browns in this matchup. Divisional matchup here between the Panthers and the Saints. These teams aren't very good, but I don't know if the Panthers are good enough to beat the Saints at this point in the season. Is anybody picking the Panthers in this?
No, I think the Saints are due for a win. They're kind of on a long losing streak.
Who's going to be quarterback for the Saints this week?
Well, it's Jameis Winston, which is still better than rookie Bryce Young. What?
Yeah,
is Derek Carr benched or he's hurt? Like his injury?
He got concussion.
He got concussion, but I mean, he's all. Even when he comes back, I don't know how you start him. He's
probably going to get hurt. He's probably going to get hurt again. He's gotten hurt like 3 times this year.
Even when he's healthy, he's clearly not the answer. So, like, I prefer to be Winston for the season here.
And they still got a guy. They still got a guy named Taysom Hill in case Jameis Winston wets the bed, which he's very capable of doing.
Hill should not play quarterback. We saw what happened. We saw what happened when he played quarterback.
He's got 2 interception machines playing ahead of him, though, so maybe he's best bet sometimes for certain situations.
So what happens in fantasy if I have Taysom Hill at tight end?
He'll give you points no matter how he's scoring.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, I'll take that. Well,
oh shoot!
Did he freeze?
He may have. Yeah, I think he did freeze.
You might need to get off and get back on.
Yeah, let me see.
He said the internet went out.
Oh, the internet went out?
Crap. So how should we do this? Should we wait for him to get back on, or is that not possible anymore because of his internet? Should we just run through these games real quick?
That's actually a great. All right, what's the next matchup after Panthers Saints?
Yeah, that's what I'm about to do. I'm about to pull them all up right now. So, we got after the Panthers and Saints, we got the Texans at the Jets.
You wanna go ahead and start with who's your pick?
I'll just go ahead. So yeah, Texans Jets. I'm gonna go with the Texans here because the Jets really don't know what they're doing at QB. I mean, they.
He said leave and join back.
So, is he about to get back on right now?
Yeah.
All right, well, we can just wait for him then.
All right. No, I think we might gotta leave this joint and then join back.
Oh, you're saying join the same link he already sent?
Yeah, I think so.
He said he's joining back now. I think we're good.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So it should just automatically let him in.
Yeah, because someone's gone out before and gotten back in.
Oh, bet. I think that's what he was saying. Let's see.
No, yeah, that's definitely what he meant.
Oh, okay, bet.
There he is.
Cool.
There he is.
Say less.
We weren't sure what to do. We're like, should we continue these games and just get him
Yeah,
involved?
niggas was like, yeah, should we just go ahead and have our pick in?
Yo, that was crazy, bro.
It's all
All
live
right.
broadcasting too.
I think we on the
Who got-
Texans.
who got the-
We all got the
Ooh,
Saints.
I mean, we
Everybody
all
picked
got
the
the
Saints.
Saints. I mean, we
All
on the
right,
Texans game, yeah.
You want to say this game? All right, cool. Texans and Jets. Talk to me, man.
I was just gonna say I'm picking the Texans just because I'm pretty sure the Jets cut Tim Boyle today, and they asked Zach Wilson if he wanted. They asked Zach Wilson to start again. He said he's reluctant to start, which
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
it's pretty crazy that like if someone asked you to start and you said no, but like Zach Wilson clearly didn't plan on playing this year, and he feels like his image as a QB is way worse now because he was thrown into the pile right off the bat because of what happened to Aaron Rodgers. So I don't think he's comfortable, advertising himself as quarterback, especially, thinking he's going to be on a different team next year. So, I mean, it looks like, nobody's auditioning to play quarterback for that team right now. besides Aaron Rodgers, who's trying to. By the time he's ready to play, they're probably going to be mathematically eliminated. So, point being, this Jets situation is terrible. It kind of reminds me of the scene of the comebacks when he says hike the ball and there's no quarterback behind him. It looks like that's about to be the Jets in a little bit, bro. So, I mean, I don't know how you can pick the Jets is all I'm saying with that quarterback situation. It's the worst quarterback situation I might have ever seen.
I did not know Zach Wilson is refusing to go and play quarterback.
That's what the reports are saying.
Wow. But in his defense, they did.
It sort of makes sense. Yeah, it sort of makes sense.
Each week they were saying we're not winning because of our quarterback.
Yeah,
his confidence is done for. Like,
it's in the gutter.
Man, it's almost Ben Simmons level. To be honest, this is almost Ben Simmons level. Like, he doesn't want to play. Wow, I got the Texans. I have the Texans. I have the Texans.
No other choice. Yeah.
And I saw something interesting on Twitter. I mean, if CJ Stroud can somehow get the Texans to the playoffs or even win the division, should he be in the MVP combo?
I think he should be in the convo, but I it's hard to believe that he's the actual guy just because he's a rookie. I just don't see them giving it to him because of that. But if he led the league in touchdowns, that's one thing. He leads the league in yards right now, so he's definitely in the convo. I just don't know if I can put him as top dog. If he's usually the MVP, he goes to the quarterback with a team with at least a top 3 record in the league, I want to say.
It was interesting though. If the Jaguars slip a little bit, Texans win the division.
The Jaguars will really have to fall hard without Trevor, which they obviously could, but we'll see how that goes.
For sure. But yeah, I got Houston.
I got Houston. I do think it's funny that Zach Wilson doesn't want to play though, but again, I kind of see. I a little bit see why, but I also see why you should want to go play any opportunity you get. But I mean, it's kind of like they saw how trash he was all season. They're trying to blame him all season, and then they're like, "All right, let's sit you down, buddy. You've been this bad. We're gonna bring in a couple more guys." You see the other 2 guys, you're like, Zach, we want you back, and it's like, buddy, you just said that these 2 guys were better than me. So I mean, I'm not going to save you now at this point, but I mean, he's not saving anybody. It's Zach Wilson. So again, weird situation. Crazy he doesn't want to play. That's just interesting. Texans, obviously, in this matchup. Next up, we got the Vikings and the Raiders. Is there any chance Justin Jefferson plays this week?
Yeah, I think he will. I think he is playing this week.
Who's playing quarterback for the Vikings?
But that's the thing. Going into this year, I was like, Vikings Raiders going to be a Kirk Cousins, Jimmy G game, and now it's Aiden O'Connell versus Josh Dobbs, and Josh Dobbs, that train kind of wrecked pretty fast. We thought, we saw him go in those first 2 games, win them, thinking he's the real deal. We saw him win 1 out of 10 games for the Cardinals against Dallas, and Josh Dobbs, we got to be realistic. He's lost a lot more games than he won. He might be a rocket scientist, but ain't not the best QB in the league. But neither is Aiden O'Connell, so it kind of makes it a good matchup here. I'm actually going to pick the Vikings here. I think it's going to be a really close game. I think it's going to be a 19-16 type game. It's going to be a little sloppy, but there's also going to be some good plays. I think Jettis might be the difference maker, honestly. Just him being back might rally the troops and separate them from a team like the Raiders, who's playing a lot harder, but still aren't very talented.
This is really a toss-up game in my opinion. The Raiders are playing a lot harder under Antonio Pierce. They were up 14-0 on the Chiefs. And it looked like they might have won that game, but just overall, even they played the Dolphins competitively. Oh man, this is really. I don't know if the Vikings are going to win though, because they just lost to the Bears and they didn't. They only scored 1 touchdown to Hawkinson.
Yeah, I mean, my justification is they have a bye week and they're getting Jefferson back, but that's it for me.
The game's in Vegas.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna go with the Raiders. Kind of to your point, I kind of feel like Josh Dobbs is coming back to earth a little bit. That the start he had with the Vikings, it was like, okay, Josh Dobbs might be a good backup long term, but now it's back to why I see why you went to a few teams in a few different years. So I'm gonna take the Raiders in this one. I think Devontae Adams may have a good day here, so I'll take the Raiders.
As a Devontae Adams fantasy owner, I've seen it all season. The Raiders cannot score points. They can't really score more than 19 points, I'd probably say, on any given week. So I think the Vikings would jet it back, and they should be able to score a little bit more. I'm going to go with the Vikings ultimately in this matchup. The Raiders, while they have the pieces, their QB play is atrocious, and it's right there with some of the worst I've seen all season, right next to the Jets. Rocking with the Vikings. After the shellacking that the 49ers put on the Eagles last week, is anybody going to be picking the Seahawks in this matchup?
It's just going to be weeks like these where we realize how much better the Niners are than the Cowboys, because we saw how the Seahawks played Dallas last week. I knew the whole time the Cowboys were going to win that game, but it was really close, and it came down at the end. This game, but then they played the Niners the week before on Thanksgiving and got absolutely destroyed. And I think they're going to go right back to getting destroyed because they're playing in San Francisco this time around. And Brock Purdy's getting the MVP hype now. He's actually, according to the books, the leader. And we'll get to your guy later, Mitch, but he's right behind, they say. But anyway, I got the Niners. I got the Niners here. This is a mismatch at just about every position on the field.
I got the Niners as well. And if the Seahawks aren't careful, they might not make the playoffs. So I did not know the Packers.
You got the Rams and Packers
wild card.
passing right by them.
This is crazy. But I'm going to take the 49ers. I feel like that Eagles game might have just unlocked a new team. Like, it's like they were looking all year for that game, and now they finally got that game out the way. I think the Niners might reach a new height here. It looks like they were clicking on all cylinders besides the first quarter in that game. This might be a different team that we see for this back half of the season for hopefully a championship push if you're a Niners fan.
That's my Super Bowl pick this year is the 49ers, so no slowing them down now. I think that that shellacking, again, that they put on the Eagles was impressive. I'm not going to lie. The Eagles, it was actually good as a former Cowboys fan to see to see 19 points only put up by the Eagles, while the Niners put up 42. Another interdivisional game. These are the top three teams in the division in the conference, and it's not even close. So just to see the Niners blow them out as well makes me have a little bit more confidence. But I am a Cowboys fan from afar at this point. They're not going to win anything. I'll give them a little golf clap when they beat the little teams, but when it comes to real comp, it's not going to happen, buddy. Going with the Niners. We got the Bills and the Chiefs, two explosive offenses. I think this is a very, very big game for the Bills, pretty much a must-win. What do you guys have for this matchup?
I'm picking the Bills. I was saying came so close to picking the Packers last week against the Chiefs on Sunday night, but I didn't do it. I know the Chiefs kind of need this win. They don't typically go on back-to-back losses, but the Bills need this win worse than God. I don't even know what to compare this to, but they need this win just about as bad as anyone can need a win. And they've won in KC the last 2 years in the regular season. So, I think Josh Allen does have a winning record against the Chiefs in the regular season, and he'll need to continue that this week. They're going to play them very similar to how they played the Eagles. I think it's going to be a very close game. And the Chiefs offense, Patrick Mahomes is great. Travis Kelce is great. They're both the greatest at what they do. But we're starting to learn this year they really don't have anything outside of those two on offense, and the league is taking advantage of it. Now, I don't doubt for a second that if this game meant equal to both teams that the Chiefs would win, but it means quite a bit more to the Bills. And the Chiefs, they can't have the number one seed every year of Patrick Mahomes' career. It just can't happen that way. There's too many years to be played. So I think this is, the appropriate time for them to maybe not win their typical 12 to 13 games. Although after this game against the Bills, their schedule is cake. They're going to win all the rest of their games. So I think that's another reason I'm picking the Bills here. I think the Chiefs kind of can ride the rest of the year smoothly.
I want to take the Bills, but it's hard for me to see the Chiefs losing two games back to back, and then also to see them lose at home again. If they lose at home, this will be their third home loss this year. And I think they rarely, if ever, lose at home, especially since Mahomes and Andy Reid have kind of been in their partnership. I think Mahomes' record in December, that Packers game might have been his first loss in December of his career, maybe. It's hard to go against 15 at home, kind of like how people used to treat Brady when he was in New England, of course, when they would be at home. I know this game means more to the Bills, but I feel like the Bills just somehow, some way, they always lose. Like the Eagles game, Gabe Davis went left, Josh Allen threw it right. there's plenty of other games. Like the Jets game, week 1, Josh Allen turns it over a bunch of times. I'm going to take the Chiefs in this one. I wouldn't be surprised if Buffalo won, but I'm going to take the Chiefs in this one. I just think the Bills will more so find a way to lose. Like they'll keep it close, but it's going to be a fatal mistake that gives the Chiefs an upper hand, and I think they'll win.
Ultimately going with the Chiefs in this matchup. I think that, even though it's kind of a must-win for the Bills, I think for them to be in the position that they're in right now kind of already says enough about where the team is at this point in the season. So going to go with the Chiefs. I think even though the Chiefs have been struggling, a lot of the QBs in their division or their conference aren't healthy right now. So I feel like this is kind of the year. It's kind of wide open. The Chiefs kind of still have a really good chance as long as they have Mahomes healthy. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs in this matchup. The Broncos versus the Chargers is up next. This is like who's going to ruin this game? Who's going to make that fatal mistake that Donovan talked about? Who's gonna win this game, B?
I think the Chargers are going to lose the game, so that's why I'll pick the Broncos. I just think, I've been watching the Chargers the last 20 years. I mean, what else is there to say? I mean, the Broncos aren't that good, but they kind of have – Sean Payton's kind of navigated them to the point where Russ can win the game late. Obviously, it didn't work last week because the Texans were, to their credit, were making some unbelievable interceptions. But before that, they kind of found a way to keep games close the whole game and then kind of win them at the end. Russ shows flashes of his old self late in the fourth quarter. There's no better team to continue that kind of winning style against than the Chargers, who find ways to lose games super late in games. So that's why I'll go with the Broncos here. Although I really want the Chargers to win. Let's keep the Broncos out of the playoff picture.
I'm going to take the Chargers in this one. It really pains me to say it because the Chargers, I feel like, are going to let me down. But I just think Justin Herbert, he's really been getting criticized a lot, especially after that 6-0 showing they had versus New England last week. I think the Chargers offensively could really use a bounce-back game here. And I think maybe, who knows, Khalil Mack could have a vintage Khalil Mack game, really cause some pressure on Russell Wilson. And I think the Chargers will win this game. I could see it being a high-scoring, maybe 34-31 type of ordeal, but I'm going to take the Chargers to win it.
I'm going to go with the Broncos in this matchup. I've seen a lot of the Chargers this year, and they're going to find a way to lose this. It's going to come down to last possession. Justin Herbert's going to have an opportunity to come down the field. For some reason, they're not going to be able to get down the field, whether that's play calling, whether that's just not being able to get the ball to the right guy, or the run game sucks. Austin Eckler has been atrocious this entire season. I can't really – Broncos. It's going to be Broncos. I don't really have anything positive to say about the Chargers. Should be a good amount of changes coming for them next season. Fellas, another week, another big matchup in the A, man. Eagles, Cowboys. I am a former Cowboys fan. I will be speaking on behalf of the Cowboys position here. This has to be a win, guys. This has to be a win. I mean, I already believe that the Cowboys are the third best team here, but in Cowboy fashion, they have to give the fan base something to hold on to, some sort of hope that we can be better in the playoffs. We haven't really beaten good teams this year other than the Seahawks. I wouldn't consider them good, actually, though, to be honest with you. This is it right here. This is where they're going to be able to, build upon. This is the confidence that they're going to need to go into the playoffs and eventually lose. I believe that the Cowboys will be able to get a dub here. I like that they're at home. They played a lot better at home, even though they're going to have to be on the road possibly for the playoffs. So, going to go with the Cowboys in this matchup. B, who do you have?
Yeah, this is a must-win for the Cowboys, even though they're making the playoffs no matter what. You just got to be a good team. And like you said, the Seahawks really aren't that. They're kind of like that team who's clawing to become 9-8 every year type team. So if you're the Cowboys, you really should win that game. Doesn't matter how. So I'll give them credit where credit was due. They won it. Dak's been balling all year. But, in the back of the Cowboys' head, there still has to be that, that so of doubt. Like if they don't have a deep playoff run this year, something needs to be changed. And it's hard to imagine that you're going to have Mike McCarthy and Dan Quinn both back next year no matter what, because, Dan Quinn's probably going to get those head coaching interviews. But B, if there's another playoff failure, like do you make a change at head coach despite how well your offense is playing? So I mean, they got to really get it done this year, and I think they realize that too. No better way to do that than beating the Eagles at home. And their next two games are at Buffalo and at Miami, so just not really high odds to go 3-0 the next three games. So I think you got to win the home game. And the Eagles' defense is really struggling, so I don't see why Dak won't keep up his big time performances. And he usually does have a good game against the Eagles every year. So I mean, I think the Cowboys will win this game. I think it'll be close, but I think the Cowboys will score at least 30 and win the game. It's just really, like we've all been saying all year, it's about what they do in the playoffs. And I have a feeling the winner of this game might be the team that goes to San Francisco for the championship game. So, I'll say we'll get to that when that bridge crosses. But I think for this game, I think Dallas shows out.
I'm actually going to take the Eagles in this one. I just feel like in games where there's expectations for the Cowboys against the best of the best, kind of the class of the conference, I just feel like they'll find a way to lose. They'll find a way to lose for sure. I know I may come off a little biased as a Washington fan, but just looking from a realistic standpoint, I feel like the Eagles are the better team here. This will be a high-scoring matchup for sure. But with that being said, I just think the Eagles, even in games where they've been down early, they've kind of found ways to win, like versus Buffalo and versus the Chiefs. They got completely dominated by the 49ers, but I feel like divisional game, I think the Eagles will bounce back and win this football game. So I'm going with Philly.
You know what's about to happen, guys. I'm changing my pick. We're going with the Eagles, baby. We're going with the Eagles, baby.
You're gonna regret that. Hey, last time the Eagles swept the Cowboys was 2011. Just think about what you were doing in 2011 for a minute.
That's what I'm thinking. Like I feel like it has to be the Cowboys week, bro. You know what, B? You got me back on the train. I like that stat.
Yeah. Plus, I think the Cowboys are going to win, but the Eagles are still going to win the division because of those next two games, Dallas. Especially like you guys predicted, if the Bills lose to the Chiefs, they're probably going to try to put their best performance together against the Cowboys the next week. If that's the case, because they'll be 6-7. So if they aren't going to fight hard enough against the Chiefs this Sunday, I guarantee you against Dallas next week they will.
I just feel like in the big games they're not going to be there. I don't know how big this game is. It's a big game for them, kind of mentally, but like as far as their season outlook, it's not super huge.
Right. It's like last year when they played the Eagles at home.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They did beat them last year, and I think that this team is a little bit better than it was last year. So I think that I do think they'll win. I'm going to stick with the Cowboys. I appreciate you for that, B. Titans, Dolphins. Is anybody picking the Titans in this matchup?
Nah.
Neither of the Titans. They got rid of Kevin Byard. that was their only chance at limiting Tyreek Hill to under 200, but they don't even got that anymore.
Who do we play this week? The Titans? You remember them?
No, very forgetful.
Yeah. The Packers and the Giants. The Packers have looked really good coming off a win against the Chiefs this past week. So, B, are you picking them against the Giants?
I just got a couple weird updates on my phone today talking about Tommy DeVito. Is he the starter? Is he the bona fide starter in New York? I'm like, get out of here, man. I'll pick the Packers.
I got the Packers as well. 2 straight wins versus the Lions and the Chiefs. So we got to get the Packers their props. Looks like Jordan Love is starting to hit his stride, and the Packers might have their franchise quarterback. So I got the Packers. They're going to keep on this playoff push.
Only thing worth talking about in this game for me is Christian Watson. He's been really good the last couple weeks, but in addition to that, he cannot seem to stay healthy. Every game, it seems like he plays well. He gets injured. The exact same game. Like he just can't. How does that happen? Like he's unlucky. Like he has like Kadarius Toney type luck. It's really bad. But yeah, ultimately gonna go with the Packers. I still like their receiving core outside of Christian Watson. Dobbs has looked pretty good, surprisingly. Musgrave, obviously he's gonna play a role. So I like what they have so far. So going with the Packers in that matchup. All right, that's gonna do it for this week's picks. Does anybody else have anything to add?
I hope I'm dead wrong about that Thursday night game. That's all I can say.
I do think you will be, just because I think that we'll see Ramondre Stevenson.
I don't think I'm wrong about how ugly the game's about to be, but I might be wrong. Hopefully, I'm wrong.
Well, yeah.
About it.
I agree.
Unfortunately, I think there's 0% chance I'm wrong about the ugliness of this game.
0%. You're right.
This game's gonna be pitiful.
Well, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that type of stuff, and we'll see you guys next week. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.